Jesus, this man is worthy. He's worthy of your attention. He's worthy that you should answer his prayers. And they gave their reason. Their reason is that the man, one, loved the nation. Number two, that the man had, out of his own purse, built a synagogue for the Jews. But he built a synagogue for the Jews. So the Jews felt that such a man was deserving of Jesus' attention. So they went to Jesus, asking that Jesus should come and attend to the man's dying servant. Jesus yielded to their request and began to go. I know what reverence and respect means. I know what submission to authority means. Not to talk about you coming to my house. That's why I send the request through the elders. So just speak the word from where you are. My servant will be healed. Because I am a man under my superior officers. I'm a man subject to authority, which is submission. And I have soldiers under me too. So I know what it means to be subject to authority. And I also understand what it means for others to be subject to my authority. For those who are subject to me, I don't stress myself. I simply say, go, one word, and they go. Come, and they come. And if I talk to my servant and say, do this, he does it. Look at how the man is explaining his understanding of submission. He's saying, those who are submissive don't argue. And you don't need to explain to them anything before they do it. You don't need long sermon before they obey. One word will get them running. Go, and they go. Come, and they come. Do this, and they do it. Else is authority, but the ability to do so without complaining. Now, as we begin to go deeper, ask yourself a question. Do you understand submission? Are you submissive? The word submission sounds strange to Gen Zs, to young people today. There are also old people who don't know what it means. They have grown up rebellious submission. But it's the sweetest word you will find in the Bible. 5 things will happen to you regarding your relationship with God, especially in the place of prayer. It was submission laced with humility, laced with sense of value and recognition. Once the Lord took the form of a man, he saw himself as a man and looked at the Father as God and related that way. It's God in his very nature. But I take the form of a man. We are not equal now. In fact, I can't make a move until I hear what the Father doing. Are you a submissive person? In my experience as a pastor and as a leader, I realize that there are people who take delight in deviating from what the leader is doing. They are deviant. The son does nothing except what he sees the father do. So the son is attentive to what the father is doing. And what the father does becomes a model for him. A few weeks ago, we wrote a prayer for a young man to come to the altar. Said, during the service, take the prayer. He mounted the pulpit and began to struggle until he couldn't utter that prayer correctly. Just spend the time struggling. Now, that is something that I spent time crafting the prayer. Say, take this prayer this way. I just looked at him and said, this one has a long way to go. And I told another young lady, when he comes down, go up and take the same prayer. I wish you could go back and watch it on YouTube. You will see the contrast. Now, this was the depth of Jesus' submission that made his voice irresistible in the Father's ear. He was heard because of his reverent submission. And God still hears people today because of their reverent submission. Go through the Bible. You see that people who were submissive to authority set over them by God, we are always people that God had in a special way. For example, for 40 years, Joshua followed Moses and was his minister, his servant, loyal to him. It will be wartime. Moses will say to Joshua, you go to the war front. I'll be on the mountain praying for you. He said, why don't I go to pray? You are sending me to the war front, exposing me to bullets, and you say you are praying. Say, go. My prayer will cover you. Joshua went. Later on, God says to Joshua, step into the shoes of Moses. And when Joshua did, that man could talk to the sun to stand still. In Joshua chapter 10 and verse 12, Joshua said to the sun, stand still over Mount Gilboa. And you, moon, be still over the valley of Ajalon until I have taken vengeance on my enemies. The Bible said the sun stood still, the moon stood still, and it was recorded there has never been a time like this when God had follow instructions with an attitude of submission, could speak to the sun and it will stand still. I am praying all night and I have a hunger for God's power. But why sickness hear me? Has God confirmed your reverent submission? That's the first question. Anyone who is Moses was submissive, heavily anointed, but he will yield to the instruction of Jethro, his father-in-law. Jethro hadn't, for as long as we know about him, led a community. But now he was giving a man instruction on how to lead a nation. And Moses didn't say, oh, who are you to tell me what to do? You don't understand anything about governing a nation. Instead, Moses listened to the voice of their father-in-law, submitted himself to Speak to sun, speak to the river. Later on, when God himself summarizes Moses' life in Numbers chapter 12, verse